And all right, it says we are live. So hopefully, for those of you that are tuning in, welcome to episode 001 of Behind the Muse, the show that highlights, discusses, and explores the women and sometimes men who travel and work in the art model or nude model industry and who inspire creativity in the artists with whom they work. I'm Joe Tregraziano, your host, and along with my wonderful co-hosts, once again, my favorite muse and model, and the lovely and talented Zinn Star. Hi, Zinn. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. Very happy that we made it to episode 001 here.
Huh.
Yes.
And we
Making
were
it happen, one show at a time.
yeah. If anybody watched the first episode, you know that Zinn was kind of sitting on the floor in front of her bed. Now she's actually in her bed. And
Right.
Rick
It's much more comfortable.
Rick suggested renaming the show to In Bed with Zinn.
Bed with Zinn.
So I don't know. But and speaking of Rick, also our other co-host, the awesomely talented photographer extraordinaire, Mr. Rick Walter from Synthesis Photo. Hey Rick, what's going on?
Not much. How you doing?
Doing well. Zinn is providing the soundtrack.
Providing the sound effects this evening, yes. Hooray.
It's okay. We need audience participation.
There we go. Yes, there we go. There we go.
I am back in Nashville from having just taken a trip up to New Jersey and the Pennsylvania area, where I got to see both of you live and in person, not just on my computer screen here, which was very nice.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, thank you both for taking some time to hang with me a little bit, and
Absolutely.
here we are again, back on. So Zinn, what is happening with you? Let's just check in with both of you a little bit. I just mentioned that I was on vacation for a week. Prior to that, I got to
Nice.
work with. I got to do a couple shoots actually. One with a model I've shot before named Jordan Bunny. Bunniee, I think is how she spells her last name, and another model that actually Rick suggested to me, Ryan Nova, who actually said she will be on the show sometime soon. So we're working on setting up an interview with her. Speaking of models, there's another one of my favorite
I
models.
was going to say, he looks so adorable.
Isn't he sexy?
Yes.
Forgot to put him away tonight.
He's like a bowling ball. Like a furry bowling ball.
It's a bowling ball of love.
A bowling ball of love.
But some of those images that I shot of Jordan and Ryan will be up on my Tumblr and Instagram feeds pretty soon. So, Rick, thank you again for the suggestion. But Zinn, let's start with you. What's happening with you, creatively or non-creatively?
Not much. Working on a website myself. www.DIY-oil-chick. Woo woo.
Nice.
Crazy
That's
into
right.
the essential oils, so that is I had to shamelessly promote myself.
Do it. Our first sponsor. We have a sponsor.
I know, right? I'm like, should come up at the bottom. Like, can we have that?
We'll work on that.
But no, that is definitely where my passion is right now, and I'm putting a lot of time. Looking at heading to Utah in September for more of like a training for the essential oils, which I'm really excited about. Number one, it's Utah. Hello. Number two, I get to learn and really get motivated and learn a lot more about the company that I'm working with, and that's really inspiring to me. So I'm really super stoked. And I'm going to shoot later on this month. I know I don't shoot often because, this chick is retired, but I do have to shoot later on this month.
Semi-retired.
I know. I work with my select few, my people who, they email me and it's like, hey, quick, let's do something this date, and there's not even a think about it. It's just like, okay, I'll be there. So I'm totally stoked about that.
Very cool.
And that's about it. Woo woo.
Keep us posted on that. New work from
Will do.
Zinn Star coming soon. And Rick, Mr. Synthesis Photo, what's going on in your world, sir?
Not much. Just waiting for the results. This week is the PPA International competition, so I'm waiting there. I have 4 images in for that, and so the judging ends on Thursday, so I should hear something tomorrow, the next day, whatever, as they go through the judging process. and then I'm waiting to see if I make it into Naked in New Hope this year.
Oh, very cool.
Nice.
Very cool.
So
Yeah,
Awesome.
if I forgot to mention, I should put that in your intro. The award-winning photographer,
There we go. I
because Rick
I
has been
like.
featured in the PPA, and that's the Professional Photographers Association. They have their what's it called, Imaging USA every year, their big convention.
Yeah.
Where they feature the work of photographers who have submitted to them, and I actually it came through Nashville 2 years ago. And I got to see some of Rick's work being displayed there in the big convention hall. It was pretty exciting.
Nice.
Rick didn't get to go, unfortunately. I had to keep sending him like whatever text messages of his, like there it is, I saw it.
Aww.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
But well, Rick's work is amazing, and definitely I'm sure it deserves it. And Rick, is there a link where people can go to vote for your?
Oh no, it's judged by judges through the PPA.
Oh,
so
okay.
you public can't vote on it, and when they vote on it, then it either is worthy of a merit or it's not. And but you can view the judging live. It's called I think you have to be a member of the PPA to see it live, but it's a stream that they have, and you can actually watch them judge the images. They will come up on your computer screen, and then you can listen to them talk about the merits of the image, and what's good about it, what's bad about it, and whether it's scored or not. And so I just didn't get to watch anything today. So that's okay.
Well, hey, that's
pretty
cool.
Awesome.
That's
you can at least hear what they have to say. I mean, even though obviously we all have our own opinions about our own work, we're a little biased.
Yes.
But
well, it's a great way to learn, and they.
Right.
Yep.
No, I agree. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good luck, sir, and
thank you.
Well, rooting for you, and keep us posted here on the show, and hopefully the next episode we'll have some good news about Rick's images in the PPA. So
yeah, I'll know by Thursday.
Very cool. And
I should know by Friday or Saturday whether I get into Naked in New Hope at the gallery this year or not.
Nice.
Yeah. Now, Naked in New Hope is an event, it's an exhibit in New Hope, Pennsylvania, which is
at the Sidetracks Art Gallery.
Sidetracks Art Gallery. Okay.
Right. And Zinn's actually been hung there before.
Bill Earl, right?
Yes. Yes.
Nice.
I remember that the dresser drawer image.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah.
That was a really good one. Just my legs, but it looks fabulous.
We have to showcase that dresser drawer image on the show here. If anybody knows where to find it,
right?
It's on William Earl's site. Yeah. What is a thin breath or something like that? Okay. I can't remember the name. I'll find it and let you know for sure.
Very cool.
Okay.
Very cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, all right, kids. Well, hey, let's get into the show here. We thought that tonight on this first episode, as we're still kind of getting this thing rolling and hopefully reaching some models and artists who want to work with those models, to talk about how to do that, how to start networking with models and artists or photographers to get your portfolio going and to get your first shoot or first session going. So, one of the things that I think we all agree on is probably the biggest behemoth in this industry for networking with artists and models is the site modelmayhem.com. And all of us have our Model Mayhem profiles. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
We all
Yes.
Yep. And I know, Zinn, your Model Mayhem site I checked out recently, and it says that you're retired on there, and
yes.
But you might have.
It said that for about the last 5 years or something.
Something.
Well, and one of the things I was going to talk about was just I think it's been about at least 3 years since I updated mine, but nonetheless, we'll talk about all of that, our own faults included,
yes.
with Model Mayhem, but So, going back, we mentioned this last week. Model Mayhem is kind of like a social network website for anybody in this industry. It's not just models and photographers. It's makeup artists, stylists, ad people. I mean, anybody that has to work in this industry and is looking to network with those with other people in the industry. And it's actually how Rick and I found Zinn. Was through a casting call that she posted on Model Mayhem. But just in a nutshell, that's what Model Mayhem is. It's just modelmayhem.com. You go on, you create a profile. One of the cool things about them is that they do have to, they have a human being approve your submission. If you're a model or a photographer, when you create your profile, the philosophy is that they just want to make sure that it's not just anybody, taking iPhone photos of themselves or posting selfies up on their profile page and calling themselves models, or just a guy with an iPhone, shooting people that are not aware they're being shot and calling himself a photographer. But they do. It does take a couple days or a few days to get your profile approved, but I guess just going around the table, the virtual table here, what was your experience with Model Mayhem, Zinn, and was that the primary tool that you used to find photographers and get work when you were modeling full time?
Absolutely. That was probably the most, because Facebook wasn't popular. I mean, I had towards the end of my modeling career, I had a BlackBerry, so now I'm really dating myself. Okay, so. Like literally, like when I lived in LA, that's when like Facebook started coming about, and it's funny now. I'm like going through Facebook memories, and it's just like a text. There's not like a picture or like a really cool thing that you do with your iPhone. It's just post from BlackBerry, and it's just a text. So Model Mayhem was definitely my main website that I used, which was kind of nice because you could control it. That was one main avenue, rather than now I feel there's so many. I mean, now you can literally get work on Instagram depending on, how. Let's be safe. You know what I mean? That's it. Right. Safety is main key, number uno. We're not booking. Let's say, hey, you can do whatever you want, but I was not booking anything off of like Craigslist and things like that. I would rather go to even though you can find hacks on Model Mayhem too. It's a flip of the coin. You never know who's going to be on the end, and that's why you have to do your checks and your references when it comes to who you're working with, and just make sure that they are safe. Because again, if you're going there by yourself and you don't have anybody to go with you, then you obviously it's your life. You never know. Unfortunately, it's a lot scarier than it probably was years ago. I've heard a lot more horror stories. And thank God that I've never had like a story to the point where I'm like, I want to quit. But I know there's probably stories out there where models just have such a bad experience, and they quit. And that's a shame, right? Because that shouldn't happen. But then there's also, now let's put the shoe on the other foot, because there's also going to be times where the model is almost wants. The model almost makes the photographer want to quit, or it's just not working, or something like that. So it's a 50-50 relationship. When you show up to a shoot, it's 50% photographer, 50% model. If you don't bring it, then what was the point of sitting on your computer for all these hours trying to book shoots?
Right.
I think it's absolutely pointless.
Right, and you brought up the good point, and let me toss it over to Rick. And Rick, Zinn mentioned that it could be. I mean, it's easy to envision a model having a horrible experience. Yep. With a photographer who's really what we call a GWC, just a guy with a camera who creates this Model Mayhem profile and is just really just trying to shoot pretty girls naked, and it could. We have heard horror stories from models that we've worked with through Model Mayhem, but how about you as a photographer? I know for a fact that you've used Model Mayhem pretty extensively to find talent to shoot, especially when you're building your portfolio. What were some of the experiences, or have you had a really bad experience with a model through Mayhem?
Not really. I used it when I started 6 years ago. It was really the only thing out there besides one model place, which may be dead or alive. Yeah. I don't know. But
I think that horse has been dead.
Yeah, and but Mayhem was, then you had to be approved and put something up that looked like you knew what you were doing. I go on it maybe once a week now just to see what's what, but I don't really get anything through it. There's people that I stay in touch with just because they became friends over the course of the last 6 years, and they're on it. Other than that, I don't really book any paid work through it. I don't really book anything through it at all anymore, virtually at all.
Right.
It's all really more Facebook or Instagram. And the thing of it is that, like you said, there's a live person that has to look at your work, but you'd be surprised if you went and looked at some new people's work that it's pretty awful.
Yeah.
And then
go
ahead.
Sorry, quick. Have you guys even I remember another one that was popular, obviously more for artists, but photographers, DeviantArt?
It's still
there. I don't
there.
know about booking work on there, but I definitely know connecting like with other artists and stuff that's another one where I've heard people get a lot of success and at least, I don't say recognition of their work. I don't know.
Right.
Do you guys have any experience with that? I definitely don't.
I have one. I haven't used it in years.
Okay.
The only time I'll ever use it is if somebody sends me a link and says, "Oh, I'm on DeviantArt. Take a look at it." And if you didn't have one, you can't look at it. But they make it. At least they did. They made it very difficult every time you wanted to load an image, and you had to title it, and you had to do this, and you had to do like 20 different steps just to put the images up. And I was like, never mind. And I just didn't feel like messing with it. But
makes sense.
I think that there's, Model Mayhem's still a good tool, especially if you're starting out. But like you said, be careful. There's scams on both sides of it, and I think the girls have to be careful. And I think your advice about using a fake name as far as an alias goes, I think for the girls that they should all really do that, because in this day and age,
Right.
Which was one of the things I mentioned to Joe earlier today, is that Facebook in the past 6 months or so has been really cracking down on anyone using an alias that you shouldn't. They're just making you prove that you're who you really are if they think you're a fake. And I know people that have actually had to give them their copy of their license and birth certificate to prove that they were really a real person and not a fake profile, because there's so many people that use Facebook for harassing purposes, for stalking, for this, that, and the other. But hang on a second. But then it gets back to the model, and we just said models shouldn't be using their real name. So your model Susie Q, and your real name is Jody Thompson, but you want to go by Susie Q. Well, now Facebook's saying Susie Q doesn't exist, so therefore we're shutting that down. And this just happened to somebody that I know. And so I don't know where that's going to go.
Well, I can speak to that a little bit, because I mentioned, first of all, I think that requiring proof of name, especially since, like you mentioned, Rick, the fact that Facebook is becoming such a tool for cyberbullying and harassment on other fronts. I've been involved as a teacher. Exactly. I've seen it used in so many negative ways, and I think if this is a way to hold people more accountable for their actions or for what they say or do online, then I think it's a great thing. The very easy workaround with this is to create a page, which I think is, to be quite frank, is the honest and smart thing to do for people in any industry, really. If for example, like I said before, I work with musicians. When they create an artist page or a Facebook page, that's not their personal profile. It's not people friending them on Facebook and seeing other things that they might post on Facebook about their personal lives or family. It's a page dedicated to just their music career or their photography career. It's a little more limiting. Like you can't, you can't.
But the problem with it is Facebook limits, when you have a fan page. In the last 2 years, they've limited the amount of anybody that can see that. They want you to pay for everything.
That's
the other
exactly
problem
what
with that is if you don't have somebody as a backup administrator on that page and it's linked to your personal page or your fake, where's my quotes? There's my hands there. Fake page, okay, your alias. It's your modeling alias, and you don't have another person to act as your administrator, then you can't get to that anymore either. Okay? In other words, I have a page. I have a fan page. I literally don't hardly post anything to it anymore because Facebook has limited the amount of people that can see the stuff that I put on it, and they're like, oh, here, boost this post by paying for this, and, and increase your audience by paying for that, you know. But the point being is, if you don't have somebody as a backup administrator, and that page, that modeling page, is tied to your alias page, you're screwed too.
Right.
Having said all that, Mayhem is still Mayhem. It's going to be there. It's the #1 thing that most people use. There's a lot of brilliant people on it, and there's a lot of hacks on both sides of the lens.
Right.
But more and more,
very much so.
More and more, it's Facebook and Instagram, and
and you know, and I mean, and I know a lot of the models that I shoot are also on Tumblr. I mean, that's a place. You know, we mentioned this, I think, briefly in the last episode. Tumblr is a platform that doesn't have the censorship restrictions that Instagram or Facebook does. Yeah, I mean, you can you can literally post anything, just about anything on Facebook. So. You know, so you can see everything from the sublime to the ridiculous, but it is a good place for artists to showcase their work uncensored. Whereas on Instagram and Facebook, you're putting a lot of like black bar lines and blurring things out and that kind of thing that you know, Instagram.
God forbid we see a nipple.
I know, and that's the worst thing that people are seeing on.
We ought to throw the other one into the mix too, and that would be Twitter. Even though Twitter is 140 characters, you can't say or talk about anything too much. You can post completely, I don't know,
uncensored. Yep.
I'm talking completely uncensored.
Yeah.
Not, I mean, just like Tumblr or whatever, but it's just the wild, wild west on Twitter now. Right. I mean, it's like, hey, here's my page and here's my stuff and everything.
Right.
You know, and
here's my vagina. No,
okay, I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to.
Thank you, Zinn, for keeping it real. Zinn, thank you for keeping it real.
Say the V word. I have one.
So, but with Twitter, in order to get any response from it, you have to be on it all the time and post, and follow everyone. And then, like, people, I tried to restart it, and I put some pictures up, and it was like, literally no response. And I see people on there that I follow that are, there's one guy I follow that's a British photographer, and he does beautiful work. He gets 2 or 3 notices. Like, I'm like, really? It's in comparison to Facebook, you can have 1,000 people maybe look at it, and I say that not on a fan page, but on your regular page. But then that's the other thing with Facebook is if you have a regular page and a personal page, as a lot of photographers do, and they put their work on their personal page, if you put too much personal work on your page, Facebook will then shut that down and say, you need a fan page because this looks like a business.
Yeah. You're absolutely right about on all fronts about these. I mean, Facebook is out there to make money. I mean, and it is a free service. I mean, in their defense, I mean, they offer it to us for free. So for us to I don't know, alter the way we're using it slightly to, comply with their regulations, that's fine. But all of these things, all of these sites, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Model Mayhem, they're all marketing tools, and that's, I mean, in anybody that's an artist or a model or in any industry that uses these sites, that's what they are. I mean, you're going to get out of them what you put into them. You mentioned Twitter, Rick, and people and how they use them or how often they use them. It's you definitely have to use one of them a lot to get a lot of response back to them. It's just a slow time building it. The more you use it, the more you're going to increase your visibility on them. It's hard to do it across all of those different platforms, so I think, in my opinion, it's better to be on one and do one and do it well, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and getting back to Facebook, I don't mean to sound like I'm trashing Facebook, but it's their playground and they let us play in it. And if you follow the rules, 90% of the time, everything will be just fine.
Right.
But I guess recently, I just know that how the crackdown has been on the aliases, and because people can't grow up and do the right thing, so therefore, I think, that then I don't know where to tell models to go if they want to book work, because I go back to Model Mayhem and just hope that you don't get, I don't know. I mean,
well, and Zinn, I mean, you mentioned that Mayhem was great for you. You don't have really any horror stories through Mayhem. I mean, what were some of the ways? I think you may have touched on this before, but what were some of the ways that you, I guess, checked into potential photographers or artists before committing to working with them, so that you knew that they were on the up and up?
You troll their portfolio. You stalk them. You Model Mayhem stalk people. It's crazy. Because the one thing I love about Model Mayhem is their template. And it's kind of, to me, it's almost set up like Facebook, because you have your main avatar picture, and then you can, post the casting calls, and people can comment on your portfolio, which is beautiful.
Right.
But what I always loved is you can give the photographer credit, and when you give them credit, it automatically links to their page. So for the models that are looking for work, and you're looking for paid work,
yeah, and if you don't mind me,
I know I saw on. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but just to piggyback on that, when you mentioned credits, that's one of the things that I have in the show outline here that I wanted to definitely talk about, that not a lot of people, including myself, use, but I think it's an amazing thing, and I got to correct that. But they now have credits on the front page of your profile, where you can
verified credits.
Verified credits, yeah. So for example, if I say, so Zinn, watch your email, because I might be asking you to verify a credit for me pretty soon. But you just put in your credits block that you've worked with Zinn Star, and you'll ask to verify it. So once you get that notification, if you verify it, it's kind of like a way of getting a direct recommendation from that. And you can also write a comment like this. This model was great to work with. She was punctual. She was on time. Very professional. So it's like leaving feedback on an Amazon purchase or an eBay transaction. But it's like, you kind of get it doesn't give you a rating, but it's like this positive feedback. And so it gives other models and other photographers a way to look on those people's profiles and get that feedback before they make a commitment to work with that person.
Well, I think what models need to also realize is, as large as our community is, it's still very small. It is still very small. Word gets out there. If you don't think photographers talk to each other, you're absolutely crazy. I've had people like, oh, I talked to so and so and they highly recommended you, and I was like, what? Like, I didn't even, I mean, there is really the secret, people on chat rooms, and people, just because you're in a small market, I know DC market and the Maryland market is very intertwined with people. They do have their little niches, but they do also come together. So if you have, or coming from a model or from a photographer's point of view, to me, more as a model, but you show up 2 hours later, or you don't show up prepared, you look like you're half dead, from the night before. I mean, come on, let's this is your job. This is, you don't sit on a computer for hours at a time, like trying to get work, and then get there and then half-ass it, and then still expect to be paid $100 an hour. Now,
Right.
You are smoking something incredibly fabulous that they probably sell in California, but here in Pennsylvania,
or Oregon,
like, it just
or Colorado.
you need to be realistic. Like, it doesn't, like, that's your, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? That's your, oh man.
Reputation. Yeah, I mean, you're.
It is, thank you. It's your reputation, and don't think, and your reputation precedes you. Like, I was fortunate enough that I heard through the grapevine that I had a great reputation. Well, I worked hard on that. I didn't show up to photo shoots late. I didn't show up and just do a half-assed job, even though maybe I wasn't feeling well, or maybe I wasn't feeling the photographer. You never know. You never know what situation you're going to be put in. You can actually be working with somebody who you worked with before, and not for nothing, and don't take it offensively because it's not directed towards you two, but sometimes you show up to a shoot and I know this is for the money. Like, I love doing what I do, but yes, this is for the money. This is not fulfilling my passion inside of me. This is not making me incredibly happy and like, oh my God, like, I just filled my creative spirit. Like, it's not like that. It's like, no, I just filled my pockets and I'm ready to go. Like, and as sad as that may sound, but that's a model life. You sit on the computer, you work, and then you show up at the shoot and you work some more. And that's when you really build yourself, when you step in front of the camera, because from there on, you're on, and whatever happens, that's your resume.
Right.
Does that make sense? You know what I mean? That's your resume. That's what you have. That's going to be, if that's an image that you want to put in your portfolio to support the fact that, yes, I'm a good model. This is what I have, and this is what I have to offer. Yes, the photographer definitely had some huge input into it. But again, if that collaboration wasn't there, you wouldn't have that picture to be able to support your drive to get more work, or your ability to get more work.
Right. Well said all around. And like you said, I mean, I think the word of mouth in any industry is always going to trump anything else. It's the best, grassroots marketing tool to have is
Amen.
a reputation that precedes you, and great word of mouth. So a way to kind of talk to other people, especially if you're new to the industry, look on Facebook. Look at actually Facebook groups. I mean, there are usually model photography groups, and there might even be art model or new model photography groups. I mean, just look and dig around a little bit, and I'm sure you'll be able to find something. Meetup.com is
Meetup.
also.
Hey, just so you know, Meetup.com no longer supports nude photography whatsoever.
Oh. That's how I found that the Glamour 101 stuff that
right.
kind of got me into this whole thing.
They stopped that about 2 months ago, and everybody scrambled and went to calling themselves boudoir, or something like that. So they do not support nude photography or erotic photography in any fashion, and you can't have a group called the Philadelphia Nude Photography Group through Meetup. You can't do it. You can't have nude anywhere in there. You can't, and you can't, as Meetup always has. Like, if you have a Meetup or you go to a Meetup, a lot of the Meetup sites will have pictures associated with it. You can't be putting nude pictures up there anymore. So a lot of the groups, I should say, the Meetup groups, either went to just calling themselves a boudoir group, which Meetup is still okay with.
Right.
So it's like, okay, so we're doing lingerie, and then when Meetup's not around and not looking, we're going to do this. Yeah, it's just
Take
stupid.
it off.
It's just stupid,
Oh
so
my God! Like, seriously.
It's just another nail.
Europe and see nipples? Can we just move to Europe and see tits and nipples and ass? Yeah. I mean, seriously.
Yeah,
this is crazy.
I think another show we're going to dedicate to the sexual repression of America. That's we can go on for a long time about that.
Oh my God, this is ridiculous. It's like, oh, so
I know.
stupid. Like, nudity is the worst thing that could ever happen. Like, I'm sorry, but it makes
free yourselves,
people
people.
happy. So Seriously. Oh my God.
I know it's a
Why? I don't
it's
know. I live in a naked house, so
hey that's
no, I'm just kidding.
hey, just about a half an hour from me is what they don't even call them nudist colonies anymore. It's a naturalist.
Naturalist, yeah.
Oh God, a
Okay, yeah.
naturalist.
So I mean,
Jesus.
even the
Can't even say
nudists can't
nudist anymore. What
call
the
themselves
hell?
nudists. I know. But well, anyway, like I said, that's a topic for another show. But um,
Oh yeah.
I guess in summary, I think good points all around from everybody. Explore all of these sites. Check all them out. Model Mayhem might be great for one person, might not work very well for another person. I know the models that I shoot say that Mayhem is the easiest way to kind of, especially the
Yep.
ones that travel to. Okay, if they're coming to the Nashville area, they
Yes.
can kind of just look specifically for photographers in the Nashville area and then contact them. Um, I have a list here of going on about etiquette and not spamming people and that kind of thing. But I don't want to run too much overtime here. But just be courteous. Don't be rude. Don't spam people through any of these sites.
Right. You
Um,
have a note about messaging and responding. Basically now on Facebook, Instagram, and Model Mayhem, if I message someone and they read it, I know they read it. So if
right.
I know you read it, at least do me the courtesy of saying, go screw yourself, or I don't give a shit,
Uh,
or,
yeah.
yes, I would like to work with you. Oh, here's a pet peeve. Speaking of messaging and responding, don't, as models, if any models are actually listening, there's crickets out there, I can hear them. But don't message photographers, and this is what the young new models are doing. Don't message photographers and say, I love your work, I love your work. And then when you say, well, I respond back and I go, I love your work too. And can we work something out as a trade shoot, a TF shoot, which is also on your list of bullet points.
Right.
And then they go, oh no, I only shoot paid and I'm 150 an hour. Well, then you don't love my work that much. You're just looking for a paycheck. Just don't bullshit me and be honest and say I'm looking for a fucking paycheck. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm
That's
so
okay.
guilty of that.
It was you, Zinn. He was talking about
Don't
you,
hate
wasn't
me
he?
because I'm guilty.
I'm not saying that don't. I'm not saying you're
No,
not
it
looking for work.
sucks, but
I'm just saying
well, I would charge
don't.
$150 an hour, but I'm
Oh yeah,
listening.
that's a lot of the going rate now. Just say I'm looking for work.
I
Don't
need to
say I
start
love
modeling
love.
again.
Don't say I love your work. Just tell me I'm looking for a paid gig and
Right.
be upfront about it, and that's all I'm asking. That's just me, I
Right.
mean, and it's every model's. Having said that, it's every model's prerogative if she chooses to work trade with somebody or not. If she feels that
I
she
agree.
can benefit by shooting with artist so and so trade because he is so amazing that I'm going to get these great pictures that I can use to promote myself even more and get more paid work because I traded with him or her. That's great. It's every model's prerogative. It's also every
Yep.
photographer's prerogative to go, I'm sorry, I have rates too, and
Right.
I'd like to go home with $500 in my pocket.
Right.
You know what? I know that if this goes live and anybody sees this, it's going to be like they're going to go, I'm never working with that son of a bitch. I'm done.
Oh no,
No, these are all
no!
sent.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, even coming from a model, like I get that. I get that. Now from the model's perspective, okay, here we go. And this is when we really get into it, because if you think about it, a model has to sell her body. I mean, like this it's what it is. You know what I mean? I have to sell you my body. So
Maybe we
um
can find another way to say that.
I know. I'm like, ew. Sometimes the words that we throw around in this community is it's hilarious. But I mean, ultimately, that's what we're doing. We do have to sell ourselves. We have to sell our talent in front of the camera, and the fact that we're a model. This is all about. Unfortunately, modeling is all about looks and performance. And a lot for nude models, it's a lot about emotion. So yes, yes, when I travel, I do need to get paid. Yes, there are some certain times where it's like TFP. Sure. You know what I mean? I can't believe that the going rate is $150 an hour, especially if a new model is trying to ask for $150 an hour. Again, go back to California, smoke that good stuff, because you need to be realistic. You need to start at the bottom and work your way up. It doesn't, like, I could see if you're Liz Ashley or Melissa Trout and ask for those, or Candace or somebody asking for those numbers, because they put in that work. You know what I mean? They put in years and years and years, and they know what they're doing. But as for the newbies, no. And even me myself, to this day, even if I would work with somebody, I would still not ask for more than $100 per hour, just because number one, I feel it should be affordable. I don't want to say it should be affordable. That sounds even worse. You know what I mean?
We
But
know
like,
where you're coming from.
Let's be realistic. I mean, again, let's be realistic about, you have a 4-hour shoot. Okay, there's no reason why. Give them a $50 discount and be like $350, call it a day. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, I think that's, depending on what you're doing, is fair, depending.
Right.
But you know what I mean? Like, obviously, but again, you're somebody who's worth that. And as long as the photographer feels you're worth that, that's fine. But if you can meet somebody where you're at, like, hey, I'd throw you, some gas money or this and that. If you wanted to come shoot with me, maybe $100 and $25 gas money. Hey, you know what? There's some models out there who should be very thankful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even if they get that, just to build their portfolio, I mean, no offense, you just made $100 under the table and the government doesn't know about it. Shh.
Which is a topic for another show. I think we have to talk about that too.
That's another show.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
You know what I'm saying? But again, when you're building your portfolio, no, you shouldn't be asking for more than $100 an hour. If you're asking for, $100 for a 3-hour shoot, I think that's fair. Because guess what? If you're going to get images out of it, you're going to get experience out of it, and you're working with people who have good experience and have experience working with models so that they could teach you something as well, then that's a win-win all around. Like you two, I think you would have a lot to offer a beginner to amateur model, and professional as well. But, I think that that's a good place for you, because you have the patience. I don't know how you do, but you have a lot of patience, I think, towards somebody who's still learning, somebody who's very ambitious but still learning and wants to learn more, because I think you guys are more like the father figures and could be like, I want to help you, and I don't want you to get screwed, because, I've seen a lot of models get screwed through your experiences and building relationships with models and stuff like that.
Right.
So.
Yeah, well said, Zinn, and I think great points all around. Bottom line is you are a business, and
yes.
And if you're a model, you are the product that you're selling, and so I'm sorry, I just caught a glimpse of my dog back here. He's posing.
Oh, he's selling himself.
Get out the cameras. Yeah,
yeah.
He's getting more into the erotic posing. So I don't know if you could tell, but
I think he wants some bondage going on back there.
We need to censor Lester.
You have to censor your dog.
He's getting his doggy.com pictures ready.
I know he's getting free promotions here, but anyway.
Let me say one thing real quick, and because I know you want to wrap it up and everything, and we covered most of it, but let me say this. Since we talked about models getting paid and that kind of thing, and whether you choose to do TFP or not, here's a very common thing I hear from models nowadays who decide to do TF, whether it's a TF artistic shoot, whether it's just a fashion glamour lingerie shoot or whatever it is. They shoot with a guy and they shoot TF, and they are waiting months
forever
for pictures, or never.
Good point.
So if you're going to trade with somebody, you have to realize they're giving you themselves for the images. If you can't get them images in a timely manner, don't bother doing it. I know there's times I get backed up, and I try to get people their stuff within 2 to 3 weeks. Sometimes maybe it's a little longer, but I shoot probably more than I should, but I do try to get them their stuff,
Right,
in a
being
timely manner.
doing it for free or bartering, which is I think kind of like. And by the
Yeah.
way, for people that might be watching and don't know what TF stands for, it just means time for. I mean, it used to be TFP, which meant time for Prince. Just
TFCD.
Oh, remember those days?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
time
how many
for
CDs I have upstairs in my attic? Holy shit.
I guess
Well, if they're in your attic, they're all worthless now.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. I have some in my basement, too.
They're worthless down there, too. Don't leave your records down there, by the way.
Come
Yeah.
on.
Save the vinyl.
Wait,
The vinyl?
We're derailing, folks.
Come
We're
on,
derailing.
Rick, I'm not that old. Jesus.
Okay, I am.
Fired.
My
vinyl.
And your cassette player. You saw,
oh. Hey, I
somewhere,
love my cassettes.
somewhere I still got a few 8-tracks.
I think that honestly, how vinyl is making a comeback, and so is analog photography or film photography is almost kind of like a niche market now. That was the most recent thing I heard was that people are going back to buying cassettes and making actual mixtapes rather than the whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know, because I don't know, it's the hipster.
We'll see about that.
So yeah, we won't.
When cars don't have tape players in them anymore, you're kind of screwed.
Now you're right. Now we want to go back to the tape player, right?
Right.
But yeah. Anyway, good points for everybody. I mean, Rick, to your point,
Good point.
Being providing a service in exchange for another service, or for free or bartering, it doesn't mean you don't bring the same level of professionalism to the shoot or to the session, whatever. I mean, Rick and I are both photographers, and we keep talking about photography, but no matter what it is that you're doing here, still be professional, deliver the images in a timely manner, and to the models, same thing, show up on time, show up and be professional. That bartering is going to encourage the people that you're working with to go out and speak well of you or not speak well of you, depending on how it goes. So it's a great way to kind of get things started. So great. All right. Well, listen, we've been going for a while. I mean, you can tell we're all very passionate about this stuff, so we can go on talking about it forever. So we'll table some of this stuff for another episode. If anybody has any questions, you can contact us. Our main email address is behindthemuseproject@gmail.com. You can contact Zinn directly at zinn.museproject@gmail.com or rick.museproject@gmail.com. If it's any complaints, make sure that you send it to those two.
Give it to the dog. Give it to the dog.
Yeah, I'm going to get a lot of complaints about this.
Oh yeah.
But if you can't remember all that,
doggy porn in those model videos. Oh Jesus, I can hear it now.
Hey bitches.
He's exposing his nipples.
I know. We need a little black bar. Wait, no, there we go.
We got to get Zinn a light. Can somebody pitch in and give this girl a light?
Email.
Sorry, it's hold on a second.
We're gonna start a GoFundMe for.
Look,
for
see, I told you, I brought my own light. Okay.
There you go. Oh, it's very artsy. I like it.
One light wonder, baby.
Ooh, look at that! She's doing all the good lighting there.
See, we can have a photography lighting lesson right now.
I better know where the light is. That's all I'm saying.
I know the first time I worked with her, she didn't know where the light was. No, I'm just kidding. She didn't hear that, did she?
Hey, you know what? Zinn didn't need to find the light. The light found her.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Right.
Yes, this was a. Sorry, I didn't mean to be too corny there, but so behind the music.
Big forehead.
Behindthemusicproject@gmail.com if you need to contact us. Check out the website, behindthemuseproject.com for more information. Quick last things. I mean, did either of you two choose a check this out, something for our viewers to check out this week? Too last minute? No.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Okay, I'll be the only one again.
Check out my website. Shameless promotion.
There you go. Hey, you can't have two shameless promotions in one show. Sorry. I recommended a documentary last time we were doing here, the history of the nude and art. This time I have a book. Look, I'm reading a book called "The Female Nude: Art, Obscenity, and Sexuality" by Linda Need. Um,
Ah,
it's not a very thick book, but it's chock full of all cool stuff, cool images.
Lots of pictures.
Yes, it's a picture book. It's not a children's picture book. That's for.
Whoa.
No, but very artistic, full of great quotes. Sometimes as artists, photographers, people that do this kind of work, we're always questioned, and a lot of times we're stumped. We're asked things last minute, why we do what we do, how can we have to shoot that kind of stuff, and this gives you a lot of great quotes, a lot of great ammunition to justify and talk about the beauty of this art and how relevant it's been through all of art history. So anyway, I'll post a link to that in the notes here. Female nude, or I'm sorry, The Female Nude: Art, Obscenity, and Sexuality, by Linda Need. Good book. So all right, do we want to show off some of our work? I thought about coming up with a segment.
Or shameless promotion.
Sure.
Shameless promotion.
Yeah, we're gonna
promotion.
Oh, and this is another thing I forgot. Okay, hold on. I have to share a few sites before we go. So very quickly, we're talking about all of these tools, and one thing I wanted to mention that. Oh, wait a minute. That's yeah. Sorry. Hold on. Let's stop that. Sorry, I'm working the Googles here. All right, here it is. Okay, so wanted to share this this website. This is an app for your phone that I just started using, and I finally it's just called Pro Photo Shoot. It's an app that you can download for free. You create a profile on your phone. You can, if you want to download this, just look for Three Graces Photography. That's my profile. There's you can use it for free unless you want to check out a lot of the links on the app, or for people, then you have to pay like $3 a month for it or something like that. But the one gripe I had about Three Graces about Model Mayhem, sorry, it's getting late, is that they don't have an app version of the site now, making it easier for people to kind of communicate. So this app allows you to kind of create a portfolio, look up people by area, if you want to look up other models and photographers that are near you,
does it work for
message them, that kind of thing. It does work for Android as well. So
Okay.
So check that out. Just type in Pro Photo Shoot in the Apple Store, or the App Store, or Google Play, and check that out. And okay, so and now the other thing I wanted to mention, I wanted to kind of start a segment here called the showcase segment, where if we're talking to a guest, a special guest, or one of our co-hosts here, just highlighting some of their work. We talk about our work all the time, and I think we should get to showcase that. So Zinn chose something to showcase here. This is a work that she did with an artist by the name of Julie Bell, who's an awesome painter. And as you can see off here, I don't know if anybody can see my mouse here, but she took this photo of Zinn here, all kind of curled up and wrapped up in this fetal position, and turned it into this amazing painting with a huge owl and everything, and it looks like Zinn's on fire, and it's just amazing. So how long ago was this, Zinn, that did you pose for this?
I know that I know the photo shoot was a little while ago. I know the painting was done or just finished recently. Normally she always tags me on Facebook when she's done. No, actually, no, she doesn't. She's actually very anonymous with her models. I apologize. But always lets me know that something's up.
Okay. Okay.
So that's how I get to see the recent work. And she's just amazing. There's a couple others. There's one with flamingos on there that's of me. There's one with zebras. I absolutely love their work.
Yeah, I should be able to find the zebras one here in a second.
Yeah, they're just huge, beautiful paintings, and her and her husband are incredibly talented. There's the zebras. Love the zebras. Yeah. Oh my God, that was probably the first one, and that was just just the feeling of it is very magical. I mean, and that's paint. That's not a picture. You know what I mean? Like
that's
paint.
Now, did she paint you from a photograph? Does she photograph you first and then?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. We take a lot of reference pictures, and then she goes from there as to what she wants to do. But yeah, so that was one of the reference pictures. I actually had like a pink, that was actually covered. That wasn't nude. A lot of her work she likes to do, covered up because of the simple fact it's a different audience,
Right. Sure.
So
I think the next shoot I do with you, Zinn, I want to get real zebras and
that's
see
what I'm talking about. I want a lion.
Okay, I'll get real lions. Actually, I'll
drug it or something. I don't know if I can do a real.
I'm gonna get a bunch of bulldogs and have you like pose the same way.
Yes.
With that, and then
Yes.
That'll be a.
And we'll lay naked next to each other. He'll expose himself, and then I'll expose myself, and we'll just lay there, and it'll be like sun tanning dog and nude model will be the.
It will be epic. It'll be epic.
It'll be epic. I look like I'm in a scary movie now because of my lighting technique.
I know, it looks like a scene from like what is that? The Blair Witch Project.
Right. Okay. That was a freaky movie. I'm sorry.
That was a very freaky movie. Hey, I'm just going to share one of my photos real quick. Rick opted out for this episode, but he's going to share one of his images, hopefully on the next episode. But I wanted to share an image that I get a lot of comments about. I got the privilege of shooting Zinn when she was having a little baby. When she had a bun in the oven a few years ago. Thanks
for reminding me.
No, you're beautiful. You're a hot mom, Zinn.
I know, but he's 4.
I know.
He's not my baby anymore.
We'll talk about how fast kids grow up on another episode.
Oh God.
But anyway, this image I haven't yet titled, but there's actually a series of these images where I just kind of lit Zinn from hard from one side. She was in a body stocking, so it kind of the comment that I get from everybody that sees these images right away is that they say it just looks like a line of smoke, or if they're looking at it from far away, if they move in closer, they can obviously see that it's a woman in a body stocking, a pregnant woman in a body stocking. So I have yet to title that. I might just call it Smoke or something like that. But I don't know. That might be too simple. But anyway,
it's very appropriate for a pregnant woman.
Love that shoot, and hopefully I get to display or exhibit that work somewhere. But all right, kids. Well, I think that brings us to the end of our second episode, or episode 00. So, I guess this is unofficially our first episode, but I think the last one was a test one. But in any case, I want to thank you two for being on the show. We went a little bit late, of course, but thank you for being patient. Thank you for sticking with us. Zinn, very quickly, one website where people can see your work or contact you or go to where you want them to go.
Model Mayhem. I can't even remember my number off the top of my head, but if you type in Zinn Star, you can email me, and nobody will respond because I can't remember when the last time I logged in on Model Mayhem.
You know what? Just contact her. Look at her Model Mayhem. Again, Zinn Star, Zinn Star. But if you want to email her, just email behindthemuseproject@gmail.com. And I'll get the message to Zinn. I'll be your manager, Zinn. I'll be your agent.
There you go. Thank you. Okay. I need one.
Okay.
It's hard out here.
Okay. And Rick, how about you, sir? Where can people find you or see your work?
Where can we find you, Rick?
In a gutter, probably. Synthesis
Hopefully
art.
on the Walking Dead soon.
Yes. Yes, I know. In October. Instagram, Synthesis Art. On Instagram.
Awesome.
Synthesis Art on Instagram.
Yeah.
Great. Check that out. For myself, I'm Three Graces Photography on Instagram and Tumblr. Check me out there. Check out some of my work. Again, you can email me here, behindthemuseproject@gmail.com. Thank you all for waiting. I know we started a little bit late tonight, but thank you all for sticking around and watching the show. And we'll see you next time here on the Behind
Whoop,
the
whoop.
Muse Project. Woo woo!